London, 1888. The air is thick with mist and fear. In the narrow, gas-lit alleys of Whitechapel, shadows move like ghosts. And somewhere in that darkness, something hunts. They called him Jack the Ripper. No one knew his name, no one saw his face. But his knife carved a legacy of terror into the very heart of the city. Between August and November of that year, 5 women were found brutally murdered, their bodies mutilated in a way that defied comprehension. The killer struck swiftly, silently, and always seemed to vanish back into the suffocating fog. Each crime happened just before dawn, and each time the Ripper seemed to know exactly where the police weren't looking. As one detective whispered in the gloom, "It's as if he's watching us." Then, the letters began to arrive at police stations, written in chilling red ink. Some were signed simply from hell. The handwriting was a taunt, the tone almost gleeful, mocking the very people sworn to catch him. But the Ripper was never caught. Theories swirled for decades. Was he a doctor with surgical precision, a local butcher with a grudge, or something else entirely? All that was certain was his terrifying ability to disappear. Fast forward nearly 80 years. A clock ticks forward, and the grimy streets of London fade into the sun-drenched landscape of 1960s California. On the other side of the world, a new name began to spread a new kind of fear through America. A newspaper headline spins into view: Zodiac Killer strikes again. The Zodiac Killer began his reign of terror in Northern California in late 1968. He targeted young couples in parked cars, striking without warning and leaving behind a trail of taunting letters filled with cryptic symbols and ciphers. He craved fame. He wanted to instill fear. He wanted everyone to know his name, but never his face. In one of his letters, he chillingly wrote, "I like killing people because it's so much fun. Man is the most dangerous animal of all." The Zodiac claimed to have killed 37 people, though police could only officially confirm 7 victims. He sent his twisted puzzles to major newspapers, demanding they print his codes on the front page or more people would die. Each cipher was more complex than the last, and even today, some of them remain unsolved. The police chased countless leads across California, from San Francisco to Vallejo. Their office walls were covered in maps, letters, and suspect profiles. But the Zodiac was always one step ahead, seemingly enjoying the game he was playing. When the media frenzy would die down, he'd send another letter just to remind the world that he was still out there watching. Those 5 words, "This is the Zodiac speaking," sent a shiver through millions. Decades later, even with DNA technology, handwriting experts, and advanced forensics, his identity remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. So here we have 2 killers separated by time and an ocean, yet connected by a haunting similarity. They both craved attention, not just blood. They taunted the world, dared the police to catch them, and then vanished without a trace, leaving behind a legacy of fear. Jack the Ripper hid behind the fog and chaos of Victorian London. The Zodiac Killer hid behind the coded letters and ciphers of modern California. Both left trails of terror that have never truly gone cold. A century apart, their legends still whisper through the dark. Perhaps they were just men of flesh and blood, or maybe they were something darker. But both left behind a chilling truth that no one can deny. Evil never really dies. It only changes its mask. Thanks for joining us in the shadows. If you're fascinated by the mysteries that linger in the dark, Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Yoola Noir, where the darkest stories unfold.